So now let's go into the idea of the return in a function. So let's say we were to define a function called my function arg1 arg2 with a colon, right? Then we have print 3 and 4, or just arg1 and arg2, right? If we look at this, we're printing out these two arguments. But what happens, right? We just print it. Sometimes we want to create functions that return a value. And what that means is when we call this function, the function will actually give back a specific value. And we do that with the return keyword. So let's say we wanted to return arg1 plus, let's just do arg1, okay? When we call the function, my function 3, 4, and run it, we see 3 and 4. But what actually happened is the function returned a value of arg1. So if we were to print out, we see 3, 4, and then 3, right? Because when we print my function, it calls the function, executes all the lines of code. So first it's going to print this, which it does, and then it'll return a value of arg1. And our arg1, or argument 1, our first argument here is 3. So it'll print out whatever value is returned. So if we were to get rid of this and say return arg1 plus arg2, what do you think is going to happen? Well, it should get arg1 and arg2, so 3 and 4, and return arg1 plus arg2. So when we print it, we should get 7. And that's exactly what we do. So once you hit the return statement, the function stops and just returns whatever value it is. And the great thing is you can actually use it to define functions. So let's say we wanted to say is my sum equals my function of arg1. We'll say 3 actually, and 4. If we were to run it, well, nothing happens because we didn't print anything. But if we were to do print my sum now, we get 7, right? Because my sum equals my function 3, 4. You're sending these two arguments to the function. And then it's going to return arg1, 3, plus arg2, 4, which equals 7. So now right here, my sum equals 7, but we're not printing anything until we say print my sum, and we get it in the console. All right, so that's it for the return statements.